All right, let's take a look at the radial arm saw, miter saw. Starting off with the radial arm saw. To cut wood with this saw, you pull it into the wood. You're grabbing the handle and pulling it into the wood. Number two, the wood must be firmly resting on the table and against the fence. It's really important it's up against that fence, otherwise it can yank it out of our hands and throw it. The fence helps hold it in position. Number three, pulling the saw too quickly into the wood will stall or choke the blade, meaning that it is coming to a stop. It can't actually cut through it. You can avoid choking the blade by holding the saw handle firmly, you want a good grip on it, and pulling it slowly. It has a tendency to pull itself through, so it's really important that we're holding it strong so that it does not do that. Number five, how can you make repetitive cuts without measuring every time? A couple of ways. We can do a stop block. That is probably my favorite, clamping that in there. Oop. Or stacking a couple smaller, or a couple pieces. Not a ton of pieces, but you can do a couple. Number six, to assure straight, square, and accurate cuts, do not allow sawdust or scraps, anything along those lines, to build up along the fence or stop block. Any little bits in there are going to change the distance or the angle, making it not work as well. Number seven, remember to cut on the scrap side of your pencil mark. Number eight, the blade kerf will remove 1/8 of an inch. That's how much material gets chewed up from the blade and just turns into sawdust. Be sure to wear safety glasses and be sure your hands or fingers are not in the blade path, because the saw does come outward. So you can see even in that picture, he's got his hand off to the left so that you are not in the path that that blade is going to cut. And never reach around a rotating blade to clear away scraps. Wait for it to stop. Turn it off. Wait for it to stop. Don't try to get anything out of there when anything's moving. All right, moving down to the miter saw here. Our power miter saws are designed for smooth and accurate cuts. Much more accurate than the radial arm saw. Radial arm saw, great for our rough cutting, getting it to a more manageable size, but we want to do our finish cuts with our miter saw. Wood should be pushed back against the fence before cutting, much like the radial arm saw. If it's not being held by that, the saw is powerful. It's going to pull it out of our hands, so the fence holds it in position. Power miter saws will click into what angles? We had our 90 degrees, which is kind of the same as 0, where it's coming straight out, making a 90-degree cut. We had 45, 22.5. Those are our primary ones. Number four, a sliding miter saw should be pushed into the work. We have to push it through the cut. So remember, when we're doing the sliding action only on wider boards, we keep it up, slide it back, drop it down, and push it through the work. Why do miter saws usually have blades with many, many teeth? For a smoother cut. Remember, it's for smooth and accurate cuts. By having small teeth, or a lot of teeth, each tooth is doing less work, giving us a smoother cut. Safety glasses must be worn by saw operators and observers. Right? Sawdust, little scraps, they can fly out. So it's really important that we do have safety glasses on. And remember to cut on the scrap side of our pencil mark. When we make our mark, that blade is going to chew up some material. So we want to make sure that we're riding, the blade's riding right along our pencil line, and the majority of the blade is in the scrap. Because, of course, the blade kerf, that material getting cut up, is 1/8 of an inch. And there we can see our lovely miter saw.